Welcome back to the Baldwin Kids Podcast, a space dedicated to discussing sociopolitics, mental health issues, and nerd culture. I am the ever savory K.
And I am the deliciously marinated Vesta.
Oh my. Yeah, so we've got a lot to talk about, including something kind of big at the end of the episode, so we're going to try to burn through this as quick as possible. So first and foremost, let's talk about President Donnie, even though before we started this podcast, we were determined to avoid talking about him because everybody and their grandma's third cousin twice removed married outside of the family and then changed her name.
And we just don't want to be that podcast that always comes after Donald Trump, honestly.
So, but he tried it, and I'm tired. So, first of all, he claimed that better raking would have prevented some of these Californian forest fires.
Which is literally not the cause.
Hang on. Let me make sure that this is heard. The President of the United States claimed that ineffective raking was one of the primary causes of the recent wave of forest fires in California.
If you don't get out of here with these voices, I hate it.
I'm gonna move past this shortly because this is so.
It's such a stupid. It's like he doesn't hear what comes out of his mouth when he's saying. It's. How do you sit there and go? Hundreds of thousands, if not millions of acres of California land that is managed by us is their fault.
Oh.
And it's their fault because they didn't rake up leaves. Bitch, it's not.
That's not how that works. One. Two, bitch, where the fuck would the leaves go?
So they would just set on fire there by your shitty logic. Anyway.
And yeah, I just can't. Next, he also, in another thing, claimed that Republicans did not have a majority in the last couple years.
It's a lie.
That's literally, objectively incorrect.
That's a whole lie.
Like, you can be on one side of the bench or another. Mm-hmm. That is factually and objectively incorrect. Hell, the fact that there were so many Republicans running the country at the time that President Obama was trying to get the ACA passed is half the reason why it was so emaciated when it finally did get passed.
Yeah.
Because they kept trying to remove this, that, and the other thing from it.
Yeah, exactly.
But here, hang on. I've got an actual quote from him too.
Okay.
Don't forget, I didn't really have a majority. I had one senator and a few Republicans in the House. A very small number.
My left.
Tit.
I was going to say something less.
Had a very small number. My left nut. Really, girl?
Okay. As if you weren't just shoving money into people's pockets to make sure you got in the office.
Yeah.
Which isn't an uncommon practice.
True, but still.
Don't pretend.
Yeah. Next, I'm pretty sure he's a little salty that Gemma Costa was like, oh no, girl, I'm back. I'm back just like you love me. Yeah, I know that's not the lyric, fight me. But apparently the whole thing is shady because nobody even really knows who issued the order to revoke his press pass in the first place. So that is going to be a developing story that we'll be following as soon as possible.
If you don't get your ass out that low ass often.
Good evening. Moving on. Speaking of unintelligent shit, why does this man refuse to actually read his press briefings? Like, there's been rumors flying around left and right from multiple different sources that he actually doesn't know how to read or refuses to read altogether, which frankly, I would be thoroughly unsurprised. But they even dumbed down, explain it like I'm 5 level of simplified his press briefings that he refuses to read. And on top of that, let's not forget the, again, objective fact that the man doesn't even start working until after 11 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, which
claim, oh my god, and all of his election claims, I'm going to be the hardest working president. I'm never going to have time for call. Bitch, you have literally been.
You literally spent like a good chunk of your first.
This man has literally spent a third of his presidency, and isn't even all the way through a term yet. Has spent a third of his presidency at either some Trump property or some golf property. I get needing to blow off some steam. Trust me, I do.
We all do, hun.
But girl, you're the president.
Yeah, you got shit to do, dog.
Okay. Also, apparently, There's a couple of rumors flying around, and again, these are just rumors. We'll see what happens in 2020. But there's a couple of rumors going around that he's planning on breaking up with Pence. Oh no, Prince would
They
never.
were never together. What the fuck?
Prince would never.
Prince would be like,
If you don't get this raggedy shake and go ass wig out of my face.
you know what I imagine? No. He wouldn't even say that. He would just be like, he'd just sit there in the room and just smell it. Smells like eggs in here.
No, Prince would do that triple look thing that he does. That when he's looking down at something and look at somebody 3-4 times in a row before continuing what he was writing.
Yeah.
And would shade him every chance possible because Prince is the patron saint of shade.
Anyway.
But yeah, it's apparently Nikki Haley, the former UN ambassador, which I mean she's raggedy too, but whatever, is I guess being eyed. But we shall see because this is again a developing story. All right, and last but not least about President Donnie, which brings a deeper question to mind. He claimed that voters were changing clothes and hats to vote multiple times. So this is wild on two separate fronts. One, girl, this ain't trying to get a fucking sample from Costco. What? Changing clothes to vote multiple times. Actually, no, this is fucked up on three separate fronts.
Right.
So, changing clothes as if you're trying to get multiple Costco samples and this is a fucking BuzzFeed video. One. What? Two, that begs the question, does he even know how voting works?
Exactly.
Because you need to show some kind of identification and sign papers and dot the I's and cross the T's and shit before you can even walk into the goddamn booth and put your thing in.
Exactly.
So that begs that question. And then three, I had it and I lost it.
There she goes. Goodbye.
There she goes. No, I had a third point. Oh, right. He wants to try to claim that this is some brand of voter fraud when there is legitimate actual voter fraud fucking happening. Or do we need to bring up my big ass rant 2 episodes ago talking about how fucking North Carolina had the caucasity to claim that closing Sunday voting was a good idea because the people who were voting on Sunday were disproportionately black and disproportionately Democratic. And I went on and on about the whole thing of, bitch, if you were a better politician, then maybe more of these bitches would actually fucking vote for you instead of you being a halfway decent person.
Right.
But no. Anyway, so that just, like, you're calling attention to something that doesn't even fucking happen outside of a BuzzFeed video.
Yeah, exactly.
When there's something actually happening. But go off, I guess. Leaving her alone, moving on to my favorite endangered Galapagos turtle. Actually, no, I can't even give him that level of respect because...
Level of respect. Galapagos turtle?
So we're talking about, actually, I mean, a dirty-ass swamp turtle that got pulled out from the mud.
Don't insult the turtles.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Master Splinter, but your kids look like that shitty politician.
How dare you?
Okay, I'll be. Please tell me you were talking about Master Splinter.
Yes!
Okay, because we were gonna have to fight.
The OG.
Okay, so this hoe had. If you haven't picked up who we're talking about one Mitch McConnell.
Yep.
Turtle bitch had the nerve to call for bipartisanship. Are the Democrats going to try to do this for political points, or are we going to actually come together? This is the same shellback ass bitch that had the nerve to try to say we will block Obama on this, that, the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th until he is out of office, but wants to call for bipartisanship and working together now. Get fucked.
Get out of here with that.
Moving on, we're actually breezing through these pretty quick.
Yeah.
Moving on, so a stopped clock is right twice a day. Mm-hmm. You know why? Because Fox, of all people, coming back to Jim Acosta, Fox, of all people, even was like, no, girl, you can't do that, in regards to them revoking his press pass, which still is shady, because nobody knows how, but anyway, I've got the actual quote here from Fox's, like foxnews.com, which I'm pretty sure I had to disinfect the mouse after clicking on that site.
Clear your browser and cookie history.
Anyway, actually, no, I opened that bitch on incognito mode. Fuck you talking about. Alright, so, how should I read this one?
What have we not done?
I haven't done my Russian.
I was gonna Hold on.
I have not done that one yet.
No, I was gonna say do it in Russian, but hold on. Let me just.
No, because we don't want to waste these people's time with us waffling about which accent. I'll just read it. Fox News supports CNN in its legal effort to regain its White House reporter's press credential. We intend to file an amicus brief with the U.S. District Court Secret Service. Oh, that's weirdly punctuated. And this is copy pasted from the website. Secret Service passes. There we go. With the U.S. District Court. Secret Service passes for working White House journalists should never be weaponized. While we don't condone the growing antagonistic tone by both the president and the press at recent media avails, we do support a free press, access, and open exchanges. They didn't use an Oxford comma, I'm screaming. Free press, access, and open exchanges for the American people.
Right.
This is from Fox News President Jay Wallace. One, I love the shade. There was shade in there,
Just
and
all
it was,
up in it.
it was, and I love when it's subtle.
It may be unseasoned, but it's shade nonetheless.
I'll repeat the part that's shady so y'all can catch it. Blah, 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 blah. We don't condone the growing antagonistic tone by both the president and the press. Because, let's be honest, he's getting a little riled up. I had the nerve to say, what a stupid question. You really ask stupid questions, but that's all I can expect from you, or something like that.
Yeah, stupid questions for stupid statements.
I mean, he would recognize stupid questions quite well, wouldn't he? Mm-hmm. Anyway, so I'm thoroughly surprised that Fox News is actually like starting to step up. This is on par with like Don Lemon stepping up.
I know.
Like, I am genuinely surprised.
I know. But I feel like it's less of a who it's about thing and more of a just general, like press to press sort of mentality. They don't really care who it is.
But still, Fox News has been trying to lick the salt, never mind, that's actually disgusting. Fox News has been all sorts of behind President Donnie.
What were you going to say?
I'm not putting it on wax. You don't get to hear that. It's disgusting.
I just heard lick the salt.
Oh, you don't want to know where from. And that's all. Yeah. Anyway, before we channel too much of Belcalis Almanzar, what? I love her legal name.
Next, please.
Anyway, so that's actually it for our Democrips and Republicans section. We're going to move on to our quick rapid fire section.
Yeah.
So, ready?
Yeah.
So, Tennessee is not enforcing their bullshit hoodie policy. There's a mall in there that banned hoodies. Mm-hmm. They kicked out a black teenager wearing a hoodie, but a whole squad of Beckys rolled up in hoodies.
Like, let's test that out.
And not one of them got reprimanded, got ejected, got talked to, nothing.
That shit don't add up.
Quelle surprise. But white privilege isn't a thing. Interesting. Yeah, no, I actually saw a picture of all four of them. It's like blonde, brunette, blonde. Mm-hmm. And they all look like they're going to pick up Aiden, Braden, Jaden, Leyland from the soccer practice.
Aiden, Braden, Jaden, Layden, Clayton.
Don't come for Clayton. I know somebody who's actually awesome with that name. But yeah, so yeah, we'll see if that develops any further. Mm-hmm. Moving on, that missionary got murked trying to reach the Sentinelese people, and honestly, like, I feel bad for his family, but for him on the other end,
this ain't America.
You did not have... Okay, actually, you did have to do that. No, okay, so for those who don't know, I mean, it's been all over social media everywhere. But long story short, this dizzy religious bitch got the nerve to try to go visit an island inhabited by a handful of indigenous peoples.
Yeah.
This island is explicitly and unambiguously illegal to travel to because they will fucking kill you.
They will fuck your ass up.
And my man's, I'm pretty sure, bled out with a surprised Pikachu face because everybody told him... bled out with a surprised Pikachu face because he got fucking killed by the people he was told were gonna fucking kill him.
Listen, you knew...
Girl, you knew.
You had to know what you were walking into.
Because the armor of God ain't stopping them arrows.
Did you see that solid blue bar right there. You just peaked the mic so hard.
Am I wrong though? Exactly.
You knew what you were going into, and you thought you were just gonna crusade your way into, you know, shoving the Jesus dick, shoving the Jesus dick into another civilization that didn't need it
Or want the outsiders in the first place.
Right.
Like, they straight up kill people who approach the island.
Literally, and it's a known fact, and they've made it. Yeah, so
They made it illegal. I believe, I don't have a source in front of me to verify this, but it's like illegal to get within 5 nautical miles of that island because they will fucking kill you.
They'll kill you.
And like I said, my man's bled out like surprise Pikachu, and somebody had the Christian Caucasian nerve to be like, we want justice. They need to be brought to justice. One girl, shut up. You ain't
justice in the wild.
One girl, shut up. You ain't said nothing about justice each and every one of these times these religious people get killed by the police. But that's not my business.
Ooh.
And 2. He got told, isn't there something in your holy book about respecting the law of the land and not breaking those laws because they were enacted by God through the leader that he put into that position? Or do you not read your own fucking book?
Oops.
Oh.
Ooh.
Yeah, no, yeah.
It just got darker in here.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I felt a chill from that. Anyway, moving on. I'm not even going to read that. Some white supremacist gang got broken up, and I'm wondering why the Klan is still a thing.
Deuces.
Exactly. So... somebody had the nerve to shout Heil Hitler, Heil Trump at a Fiddler on the Roof show. I forget where this is.
I don't remember either, but I remember coming across that. I'm just like, why Fiddler though?
Why? That's the thing that like baffles me. Girl, Fiddler on the Roof is literally a musical about Jewish people. the latter half of which in this musical, they get fucked up pretty bad.
Right.
They get discriminated against. And spoiler alert, even though this musical's a smooth 60 years old, spoiler alert, they get kicked the fuck out of their own town. So for you to have the caucasity to shout Heil Hitler, Heil Trump, and try to claim you were trying to be ironic, no, bitch, you know what the fuck you were doing. Get the fuck out.
You knew exactly what you were doing.
Like, you can sunrise, sunset, and sashay your ass out of the theater, because I'm over it.
Sunrise.
Anyway, so moving on.
Exit stage left.
Seriously. So, guess who's back again?
Who?
The Salvation Army.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're back, and my black ass is not giving one gleaming red cent to any of their red buckets.
Right.
Because fuck them, fuck what they stand for, fuck their buckets, fuck the bell ringers, fuck their trucks, fuck their stores, fuck their donations, fuck their everything.
This is so unrelated. You sound like the end of King's Dead with Kendrick. Fuck your family, fuck your church, fuck your job, fuck your laugh.
I'm serious.
That's literally what you sound like. But yeah, it's true.
Because one, they allowed a transgender woman to freeze to death instead of housing her in their facilities.
Yeah.
What happened to doing the most good? And in what light does doing good involve allowing somebody to freeze to
death?
And
they still give money to like.
I believe her first name was Jennifer. I forget, and I wish I'd have written it down.
Yeah.
You know,
but I believe they give money. They also give money to like these
anti-gay this, that, and the.
What are the terms?
They're so irrelevant. Like, girl, just don't, because yeah, they pretend to do good stuff, but they also, have literally contributed to people dying.
Fun fact, and I want to meet her so I can ask her opinion about it now. You know who wrote a song about the Salvation Army?
Who?
Sade.
You just want to meet her in general.
No, so here's my thing. She wrote a song about the Salvation Army called Sally, and it's a whole metaphor for the Salvation Army. And this is before their ain't shitness was well known and publicized. So I would like to meet her and get her opinions on that song and her opinions about the Salvation Army anyway, especially because her son is trans. Like, I want to know how she feels.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Isaac Theo is his name. I follow him on Instagram. He's a gem. And
why am I not surprised?
No, not even that. He's just.
He's a gem.
That's like a ball of positivity. It's just that band's Instagram page.
He's a gem, and you're a Sade stan. So.
Right. And the super wholesomeness. He listens to his mom and all his Snapchats. It's the sweetest shit. But anyway, yeah, I want to get her opinion on the Salvation Army now that it's 2018 and they're on some bullshit.
I mean, girl, the studio is open. I'm pretty sure Vesta would just like dissolve into a puddle of
I
fangirl
would.
jelly.
I would. If Sade was like,
Can you
"Yes,
imagine
hello,
if she
I
can you
adore
imagine
your podcast."
can you imagine if she like brought her tattoo stuff over too?
So what's
You
the next
you
point
would
of this? I can't do this. I can't do this.
you can't handle this? Okay, moving on. So the big white mad has reared its ugly head again
Ooh.
because Mariah Carey took a photo with Colin
She
Kaepernick.
got them feeling emotions deeper than they've ever before.
You did not have to do that. Deeper than the depths of that seasoning cabinet that never gets opened. I'm sorry. Anyway, but yeah, there's a bunch of people of, oh my god, 20 years of being a fan down the drain. How dare you support this?
I loved reading those comments, and you know Mariah didn't give a good goddamn.
Mariah flipped her hair,
She was just
locked
like,
her
my album's out now.
Mariah flipped her hair, locked her phone screen, and went back to being pretty and rich.
Yeah,
And you-
releasing her album.
And releasing her album. And you bitches can continue to be mad about it.
Right. They were all like, "Oh wow, I'm so disappointed in you." And did y'all forget that Mariah Carey
Is actually, black.
is black? Did y'all
Yeah,
forget?
she's pretty white passing, but
Yeah.
no, her dad is Afro-Cuban, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. I think I was talking to my mom about this. We were talking about like where she was from and stuff.
But yeah. Anyway, moving on. So there's a gay Texan counselor that got outed and ousted because somebody fished for his nudes and stuff on Grindr. Which, one, girl, why are you even on Grindr? It's a cesspool. But do what you do.
This is like
No slut shaming. Get your dick wet. It's a good thing. It's fun. But like, it's less about him being on Grindr. He's a grown, barely grown, consenting adult. His ass was a whole 19 years old.
it was a fresh package.
Which, on one hand, like, that's really commendable that a gay 19-year-old got some kind of election in Texas.
I know, right?
And somebody dug up his Grindr history or something, or like interacted with him on Grindr, and then fished for his nudes, and then basically blackmailed him into trying to leave. When he was like, "No, girl, they held some kind of secondary election, put that stuff out," and then was like, "Oh, look, this is what your counselor's done. Do we want him still in office?" And they're like, oh, "Pearls were clutched. Pearls were clutched."
Get him out.
And then they kicked him out. Like, excuse me, this weather is kicking my left and right ass.
Yo, I had tonsillitis because of this weather. Like, it has not been fun.
It really isn't. Okay, and last but not least.
Oh, I was gonna say.
Oh no!
really
Go
quick-
ahead.
I was gonna say really quick about that. That's always it's a fear that I have with the way social media is now. With how easily accessible people's junk is. Mm-hmm. Like, you could follow them on Instagram and then like find their Tumblr 2 minutes later and just have like the worst.
See, here's the thing though. In any of mine, I make sure my face is never in it.
Right. That's like, I forget who it was who was shading Kim Kardashian way back in the day. Some white girl, whoever. But I remember she was like, I remember back when you didn't have to have a sex tape to be rich and famous in Hollywood, and if you took nudes, hide your face, people, hide your face.
Oh, the
I forget who that
shade.
was. I have to see, but it's in like Shady Diva moments on YouTube. Some of my favorite shit. But
Oh, the shade.
that's something I'm always careful with. It's just like, don't put your shit out there for the world to see. And if you do want to put it out, make people work for it. Get an OnlyFans, make some coin off of it at least. Do something.
Like, if you're gonna get outed like that, that's what I would do. Like, if I'm gonna go for something, all my nudes are going on OnlyFans or something. If you want to see the goodies, you can pay for it, and then if you try to come forward with it, I'll be like, yeah, but this is the bitch that actually paid to see it in the
you
first
paid
place.
for it though.
Yeah. So, anyway, last but not least, and this is the depressing one. So, quick content warning. We're talking about shootings for a second.
Yeah.
Okay. So, there were a bunch that happened in the last couple weeks. Mercy Hospital in Chicago.
Yeah.
That bar that I just lost. I just had the name for it and I lost it. But that one in Midlothian. The Alabama Mall. And the one at the border, which I am hot about. Okay. Like, I know there was a post floating around that a friend of mine posted. And I forget if they still had it. But it's something along the lines of, after Sandy Hook, I knew that the gun conversation was over. Because we as a country decided that the blood of children was less important than keeping our guns.
It's true.
And, like with the Mercy Hospital shooting, the guy has had multiple run-ins with law enforcement and such, and yet somehow still managed to keep firearms. Girl, what? that bar in Midlothian, the guy had a shirt that clearly said security on it, and the cop still murked him. But I mean, he was black, so it's not surprising. And I believe, I don't remember if the guy in the Alabama mall was in his fatigues or not, but he got lit the fuck up too, even though
Yeah.
he was helping.
He was.
Yeah. So what happened to that good guy with a gun analogy, girls? Where? What?
I don't give a
what-
good
what?
fuck. Like, can we stop with the whole?
Like that good guy with a gun thing. If you take 0.2 seconds and think about it logically, it makes literally zero sense. Especially if you bring the authorities into the equation, because a good guy with a gun pulls out a gun to try to deal with the bad guys with a gun, and the cops don't know that there's a good guy with a gun in there. The cops are going to assume that the good guy with a gun is also one of the bad guys with a gun and going to shoot his ass up too.
Right. Exactly.
So, but that's too much logical thinking. I'm pretty sure I can hear some heads start to sizzle from trying to put that shit together.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, like, girl, blow the steam away from your ears, you'll be okay. Moving on. So, palate cleanse, because everything is shit.
I have a sound effect for that.
Oh, you have a
It's gonna
sound
be
effect. Woosah. Okay, so, first of all, can we talk about the notorious AOC? You don't know who that... Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
No, I know who that is. I'm just mad that you did that.
I stand. First of all, like, I need to start doing more research into what she stands for and what she does. But as it stands right now, for what I know, I stand, because she has no problem, surgically removing baby hairs from these bitches that try to come for her.
Right. Surgically.
Like, people, trying to take all of her stuff out of context, saying that a broke 20-something should not have that coat and those heels or whatever. And I'm like, one, girl, have you ever heard of Ross? Bitch, have you ever heard of Marshalls? Do you know what the fuck a gift is?
Right. Exactly.
Like, one's attire does not dictate one's financial standing.
Right.
Because if you notice, these rich bitches like Jeff Bezos and Steve Jobs were in jeans and a t-shirt 90% of the time, but they were still some of the richest people on the planet. So you can take your poor shaming out into the snow with the rest of these hoes and be done with it.
Right.
Because I'm already tired. But yeah. So she's awesome, and I stan, and I want to find out more about her because I hope that I can continue standing, but there was something floating around that made her a little questionable, so I got to find out. But I'll get to that.
Cool.
So don't at me. I'm working on it. I'm learning. It's a learning process. Next on our palate clones. Palate clones.
That's so good.
So Sue the T-Rex is running a Twitter D&D game, and it's absolutely adorable. And I meant to follow them, and I completely forgot.
Oh.
But I'm already a bit of a D&D nerd. Just partly because, if you haven't noticed, I love doing accents, I love doing voices, I like role playing, and my character in the D&D game I'm playing right now is a bard, which means I get to fuck with the game. It does.
Meanwhile, I'm just here like, dice.
Yeah, but no, I'm not going to stick in too much of a nerd tangent. But yeah, bards have abilities depending on which school you choose. You have abilities to fuck with a game where if somebody swings at one of your friends, if you're close enough, you can be like, "Oh no, girl, you can't hit her," and then you roll a die, and chances are you'll be able to stop that hit from happening unless it was a nat 20. Last but not least, this was heartwarming as hell. So there was a story floating around Facebook about a pair of kids. They're 7 and 8, named Rush and Quentin, who are absolutely precious. But at one point, Rush got into a car accident and wasn't feeling well. Just like was staying in bed most of the time. And then he found out that Quentin was coming to visit, and Quentin helped convince him to start walking. And I'm just like, the kids are going to be okay.
Right. No matter all the bullshit their parents are doing, the kids are going to be just fine.
Yeah, even though Rush's mom had some caucasity to speak during that video, and I'm going to side hire her into orbit, but
What's she saying?
she had to say something about the lines of, it doesn't matter, blah, 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 skin, blah, blah, blah. And I ended
If
up...
it didn't matter, you didn't have to mention it.
About that.
Is that it?
That... We actually breezed through that really quick this
We got
time.
it in like half an hour. Holy shit.
Yeah. As we're recording this, snowy doom is trying to descend upon the Chicagoland area.
Oh, yeah.
So, If I'm talking too fast, please, please, please utilize the 0.75% play speed because I'm trying to get out of here and not skid into a median.
Right.
But anyway, who do we have music from this time?
We have music from me, and we have
Oh.
music from Mr. Fahrenheit for the next one.
Oh.
It's a
Lit.
remix of the same song, so it's by the same person. His name's Mason Blanche. He's from New Orleans, and you're gonna like it.
Maison Blanche.
Thank you.
I mean, I do speak French.
Okay,
Oui, je parle français assez bien. Es-tu jalouse?
okay, we're gonna be back.
Yeah, we shall return post haste. So enjoy some of these sweet tunes, and we'll be back. And welcome back, guys, gals, and non-binary pals. We have returned. Hope you enjoyed those musical stylings.
Yeah.
All right, so we're moving on to our mental health bit, and as always, our little disclaimer: we are just a couple individuals with a pair of mics and a lot to say. So please take what we say with a whole field of salt.
A field.
Uh huh.
I don't know if that's big enough.
A field is going to be bigger than a warehouse.
Not necessarily. You could have a.
I didn't say how deep it was on the field.
Okay, that's fair. Okay.
All right, so let me actually pull that article up proper. But I came across an article talking about the importance of caucus-free safe spaces.
Yes.
So bear with me momentarily while I find that article.
It's a very underestimated thing
Right.
in the community.
While I'm looking for it, though, here's the thing about quote unquote safe spaces, because I know a lot of you right wing people and you pseudo centrist people and stuff want to talk shit about safe spaces, but 9 times out of 10, you guys are white guys with bad neck beards that are just mad that you ain't getting laid because you don't wash your dick properly. But that's none of my business.
Well, not even that. It's just like you guys. They laugh about safe spaces as if their entire life isn't one,
Yeah.
and it is. Sorry to make you feel like you're not a victim, but your life very much is a safe space. You don't have to worry about. There's things you don't have to worry about talking about, whereas we do, because there can be a very distinct lack of understanding between.
Exactly. So there's an article that came up on the Arrow Posted. This was a while ago, actually. It was posted on August 9th, but it's
Still
interesting.
relevant.
Right. So just a couple of segments from it. People of color need their own spaces. Black people need their own spaces. We need places in which we can gather and be free from the mainstream stereotypes and marginalization that permeate every other social or societal space we occupy. We need spaces where we can be our authentic selves without white people's judgment and insecurity muzzling that expression. We need spaces where we can simply be, where we can get off the treadmill of making white people comfortable and finally realize just how tired we really are. I added that really by accident. But
Right.
this kind of plays into WakandaCon again.
Look, it's back again. It's a very important thing
Okay.
with this podcast.
So, an important little bit of backstory about me. I am large, first of all. I'm 6'4", and an annoying amount of weight, 3X shirts, big pants, etc., etc. But in the vein of that paragraph, I stoop my posture slightly. I don't speak in my normal timbre. This is actually more of my code switch timbre, to the point where, like, my Google Home didn't recognize me when I tried to say something to it. Because when I originally recorded my vocal recognition thing, I was down here. Excuse me. And down here is more of my regular speaking voice, but because deeper voices tend to be a bit more
Intimidating.
intimidating, I try to
Raise it up a little bit.
keep it up a little higher, so I'm not as intimidating sounding. Because I'm already gonna look really damn intimidating. If I had $1 for every time I've seen some decrepit old white grandma clutch her purse as I walk past,
Oh, that's
like,
my
girl, I
favorite.
ain't worried about your knockoff ass coach. Fuck off. But
That's not
anyway,
a coach. That is a catch. You spelled it wrong. But yes, I don't have. I was lucky to be raised in a predominantly black area of my town. Although, later on, and this brings up the whole distinction of, I think we talked about this in private. I don't know if we mentioned it on the podcast, the whole distinction of, speaking white. And yada. We talked about that on here.
I think we may have mentioned something
So-
about quote unquote talking white.
The only time I didn't was when I went to a quote unquote better school and honors this and all that bullshit in like the Caucasus of Long Beach, where I wasn't surrounded by black folks. So that experience going from predominantly black elementary school to I was one of the 3 black people middle school was jarring. So I got to experience that shift
And I had the
a
opposite.
lot earlier. Yeah.
I was the polar opposite. I went to a gifted program. Well, I started off in a predominantly Latino preschool, but I don't remember much of that. But from kindergarten until halfway through halfway through 6th grade, rather, I went to a predominantly white gifted program. So I didn't really get much of that experience growing up. And then when I moved in 6th grade, I spent the second semester of 6th grade in a predominantly lower income black area where it was just a culture shock.
Yeah.
Because it's something I'm not used to.
No,
And I mean,
feel your ass for a
you can even kind of hear it in my, how I speak. And it's not necessarily intentional because I will go off if I need to, but I tend to stick to, this method of speaking. Just so that way I am more clearly understood. But talking is not necessarily what we're talking about. We're more trying to stick to safe spaces.
Yes.
And being able to exist, which
yes.
is why WakandaCon had me almost in tears.
I can speak to this because I think I got there first.
You did.
Listen, when that was announced. I think that was announced like a little while after I first moved here, or before I moved here.
It was announced shortly after the movie came out.
Right. Okay. So, when it was announced, I immediately was like, I'm going to buy tickets because they weren't expensive. It wasn't
It
expensive.
was like $40 for the 3-day pass.
It was less than that when I first bought mine, so I paid less than what I got for.
Yeah.
When I got yours.
But you had, yeah.
And I was there, and I was just like, oh my! Like, it wasn't all black.
It was like 99%.
But 99%. It was 99%.
I think I saw 2 white people the entire weekend.
A couple of Asian folks were there.
But that's not the point.
Yeah, but walking into that and seeing you and your culture very out and proud expressed. There's no hiding anything.
And there was an experience of being able to be a me that I barely even knew. Because I'd spent so much time hiding and masking and differentiating. Like, I'm pretty sure my voice dropped the entire time I was there.
When you weren't squealing.
I mean, I was squealing because I was getting my entire ass life from all the locks, all the braids, all the girls with the short hair. I have such a weakness for girls with short hair.
The looks, you guys.
The looks
that some of these folks pulled out just to be at WakandaCon was sick.
I was gagging.
And by comparison, Coachella or whatever the fuck was across the street.
Lollapalooza.
Whatever. It was across the street. And they just look so dusty compared to us.
I mean, it's a sweaty concert venue. What do you expect?
Oh, they look so dusty.
But anyway, back to trying to stay on topic.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. Whenever you talk about WakandaCon, I just remember that Lola was across the street. I'm just like, oof.
But then because that was an experience that I will never trade, and I hope that I never forget. Being able to be in a public space, like a completely public space. Bitch, this was the Hilton downtown in Chicago.
In the heart.
I got to be every ounce of my authentic self that I didn't even recognize. And so to have that kind of space is something that I seek out and want to find more often. Hell, that's part of why we have this podcast.
Yeah, like I was saying a second ago, WakandaCon is like a really big part of this podcast, because without it, I don't think this would have started as it did.
But here we are.
Yeah.
And it's just the importance of safe spaces, the ability to be your complete and authentic self. You know, Chad up the street can go outside and be an immigrant-hating Trump supporter as much as he wants in pretty much any space that he wants, and not have to worry about what minorities are going to think of him, because they're minorities. They don't make up the majority of the population. They're not going to affect much of what he does.
Right.
Whereas I make sure that, like, my hair stays on point and pulled back or braided at all times. I'm usually up here in my higher register. I have to make all these changes, and it's exhausting. And I end up just coming home and just falling on my bed for a minute or two and just breathing. Because even when I'm at home, I feel not as much pressure to keep that up, but enough pressure to keep that up that it kind of happens unintentionally.
Yeah, again, we're on polar opposites of the spectrum here. Because a lot of my family, because of my family, are descendants of the paper bag test, or at least one side of my family is. A lot of my elders have been raised with this whole "you gotta pass as Caucasian as possible" mentality, and I wasn't about that shit. You see, y'all who know me personally have seen my hair at its longest, and you've seen my hair when it was not. You haven't seen it as longest, but you've seen it long enough. I didn't give two fucks about what anybody had to say, and I used my size to my advantage because I knew no one would say anything to me about it. Had I been a foot shorter and a little leaner, oh bitch, people would have had so much to say about me and my hair and how I wore it. But since I'm like 6'2" and yada yada yada, I used that to my advantage. I'm like, don't come for me about my hair unless I ask you a personal opinion. But that is a luxury that a lot of people don't get to have. Yeah. A lot of people get told, like there are girls in schools being told, can't have your hair like that.
Like it's gotta be relaxed. It's gotta be relaxed. It's gotta look like Becky's hair.
It's gotta look Caucasian.
Basically, or at least have that texture.
Which again is the whole Becky can go out with her hair however the fuck she want. Let one of the sisters walk outside, not feel like having to do her hair today. Oh, it's just she's ratchet, she's ghetto.
Why you walk out of the house with your hair looking like that?
Looking like that. Oh,
how you gonna let yourself do that and stuff like that? Right. And a lot of that gets internalized, but we're not gonna go into that shade.
Yeah, that's
But it's honestly, this article is pretty eye-opening. Yeah. I think we'll actually put a link to it in the descriptor.
Yes.
Because
it's very much. I got to skim through a good chunk of it, but it's very much worth the read.
It's pretty long. But it's really profound. It goes into why we need our own spaces. but at least my summary of which is literally any white guy can step outside and that's his own space because he's part of the majority of the country.
Right.
But sidebar, you know what's really funny? When a lot of times when we try to make our own spaces, certain people get mad about it.
Oh yeah. I have personal experience with that shit.
Oh, is this some tea you can spill on the air?
Definitely. So this sort of gets a little smaller outside of people of color having their own safe spaces. When I was in middle school, I think I went into this about how I started my own GSA, and it was the first one in middle school. I think in the whole LA County, and I got a lot of shit for it. Where like the principal and the assistant principal, yada yada, would not have it because we don't want that here. We want diversity club. Have I not just named it that? And it's just like
I wasn't calling it
Polynesian club can have Polynesian club. Christian club, which should not have been on any campus, can have their club, but
the GSA can.
The GSA can
Okay,
because
sis.
okay. And best believe I went to the higher power. I was like, yes, hello, Barbara. Can I speak to Shirley?
Oh, no, you did not.
Yes. So yeah, that was like the first experience I had with something similar to that. But there's reported like documented cases of like let it be something like an African club or African Heritage Club, African American Heritage Club, anything on those veins getting huge amounts of backlash or just prolonged states of...
Or that doesn't even have to be in schools. There was a story that popped up a little while ago about somebody wanting to make an Afrocentric yoga class or something, and of course there was a big white mad about it. I'm over here like
we be involved?
I'm over here like y'all already colonized the fuck out of yoga first and foremost.
Yeah,
Let's don't get it twisted.
That's some tea there.
Second, you can literally go up to the 7 yoga classes and the hot yoga class around 7 yoga classes up the street and the hot yoga class around the corner and the Christian yoga class at your church and be perfectly surrounded by Becky, Deborah, Joanna,
Tabitha,
and I don't know.
Bethany.
Thank you. Like, why are you trying to insert yourself into a space when there are dozens? Like, can we have
We
shit?
get that you guys have that residual colonization gene where anything that doesn't involve you need to put yourselves in and take over. But
Can we have something?
yeah, please, leave the Columbusing back where it came from.
Like, never mind. That's speculation, and I don't want to eat time on speculation.
Yep, that's fine.
But it's, like I said, it's an extremely profound article. I highly, 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 highly suggest giving it a read, be you person of color, black or white. Give it a read. Try to go into it with some brand of an open mind and, contemplate what it means because it is an important thing. And, like, I know anecdotal stories aren't necessarily something to be truly considered in an academic thing, but like I now just talking about it, I'm still feeling a little emotional about the experience at WakandaCon, but it's because it's something that I'd never been able to experience.
That was
before
almost a religious experience.
that depth.
Honestly. Yeah, it was.
It really was. Like, let me put it this way. I don't swear around my mother. I called her and was a hair away from being like, bitch, you need to come here. Look at all these edges. Bitch, look at all these locks. Look at these braids. Look at all these bitches with short hair fucking it the fuck up. Look at all these dashikis. Look at all these wraps. Look at all these tattoos. Look at all these earrings. Get the fuck over here. Like, I had to fight all my life.
All my life.
I had to fight.
So I like how you just did that. That's all you. I said nothing in that. Just letting you know.
I had to fight the urge not to swear with excitement to my mother calling her while we were at WakandaCon because it was that deep of an experience, and it is something that if I eventually forget that, I don't know what'll even happen. It was that much of an experience.
It was.
Okay. I believe we're actually all set on that section.
That's good. So like I said before, next musical break
Is going to be
Mr. Fahrenheit.
Okay. All right.
His remix of the same song.
All
So,
right. So we get to see two separate sides of the same coin. Interesting. All right, Mr. Fahrenheit, let's heat it up, and we'll be right back. And welcome back.
you couldn't even keep a straight face.
I don't keep anything straight.
This is going to be like the recurring thing. On the second break, I'm going to like fade in you laughing. I'm just going to do it every time.
Okay, so yeah, y'all just enjoy a giggle on my behalf and at my anyway. So we are back. Hope you enjoy those fiery beats from one Mr. Fahrenheit.
Fiery beats. I'm going to play the air horn for that.
All right, so we're moving on to our dose of nerd culture. You want to go first, or you want me to go first?
Yeah, because I'm just gonna rattle off something. This is all movie related shit right now. Disney's out here fucking it up with the lineup. First of all, around my birthday time, Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers, is going to bless the screens with her badassery. I'm very excited for the Captain Marvel movie. I'm not really all that happy about Marvel, the original Captain Marvel from the comics being in it, but that's fine. Hopefully he gets... Never mind. Don't like Marvel. But Carol Danvers, Brie Larson, is about to fuck shit up. And for people who know about the Infinity War shit, I'm pretty sure everybody knows what happens now.
Try not to spoil it anyway.
Yeah.
The movie's less than a year old.
Carol Danvers is about to come and fuck shit up. Because
she coming with a whole basket for edges?
Yeah. She don't even need them. Her frontal... Anyway. But I'm excited for that. Live action Aladdin, however.
Isn't that happening like at the end of next year?
Regardless, it's coming out next year. They've announced a lot of their lineup for next year.
So they're out of ideas.
Sounds like
I'm not upset because the live action Lion King is coming out.
That I'm not happy about either. I'm going to be completely honest. I'm not excited for that.
Is it because Jeremy Irons isn't Scar this time?
No, not even that. It's just we don't need it.
You know what? You know what's going to end up happening though? Because I saw a couple screenshots of it. And these are like 25-year-old spoilers. Don't at me. I will massage my block
Are you
button.
talking about the Simba thing? You told me this little shit is gonna end.
Yeah, because I saw the screenshots, and I'm already getting a little moist behind the eyes just thinking about it. The dad get up section,
That's gonna be fucking horrible.
I will be a wreck in the
However,
theater.
this movie, like a lot of the live action ones that have come out, is not needed and is not going to be all that. I don't expect it to be all that great.
So I can't wait to.
The only
I can't.
live action
I
Disney
can't,
movie.
I can't wait to hear. I can't wait to hear Beyonce as Nala though.
Have you seen that video of Jay Nova? With the so Jay Nova, if you guys don't know her as a Beyonce impersonator, she was in that one gay YouTuber's Cell Block Tango rendition.
She was.
Yeah, she was Beyonce.
Oh, right.
Yeah, that's Jay Nova. She played Beyonce in So Black Django.
Will you stop shading him?
Who? Yeah, so some gay YouTuber made like he did a lot because he doesn't even have much material to write about. He did a lot of renditions of So Black Tango, and
He
one
did
of
it
them
twice.
was whatever, and did So Black Django with Mariah, Rihanna.
Their Mariah impersonator was dead the fuck
Dead on. But Jay Nova got popular for doing Beyonce Bowles instead of Beyonce Knowles. She made a video on Instagram with a Nala plushie doing the Beyonce impersonation. Like, first of all, Simba, you out here eating bugs, my dude. Really? Funny as shit. That I can't wait to see how she does because I've only heard her do voice acting once, and it wasn't hot. I love her, but Beyonce, like Wendy Williams said before, Beyonce's not very much of a talker.
First of all,
She's not. She's not.
you know the
she's
Beehive is going to be all in your mentions in a minute.
Yeah, well, whatever. But I'm not really excited for the Lion King movie. It's just the only live action Disney movie I've seen that's come out that was good was The Jungle Book. I really liked that version of The Jungle Book. Cinderella was whack. Beauty and the Beast was whack. What other live action ones came out?
They're redoing the Jungle Book.
What do you mean they're redoing the Jungle Book?
They're doing another. I think.
It's not Disney. I know what you're talking about, but it's not. I think it's Netflix doing it.
They're making like Mowgli or something.
Yeah, that's Netflix. They're making it, and I'm like, can we stop?
Are
Can
you,
we leave us alone?
Are you done?
Are you
Are
done?
you done?
Are you done? What else are they coming out with? They're coming out with a live action Dumbo directed by Tim Burton. I am already so worried because
Ooh, that comes out right after my birthday too.
that baby mind section, if that's even in the movie, is going to mess me up. That messed me up in the original. Are we missing anything? Ooh, the new Spider-Man movie. Here's why I'm excited for this new Spider-Man movie, y'all. If anybody y'all know, I have multiple crushes in the comic universe. And a lot of them lie in Spider-Man.
Venom.
Venom is one, but he came a little later. He wasn't my very first Spider-Man crush. My very first Spider-Man crush was Mysterio, the fishbowl head himself. I had such a thing for theatric ass, muscly men with big bulges.
I know y'all can't hear me, but I rolled my eyes so hard.
Mysterio could get it. Him and his fishbowl could get it. Because, anyway, Jake Gyllenhaal was cast in the newest
As Mysterio?
As Quentin Beck Mysterio.
That's gonna be interesting.
I'm excited. Because I was like, let someone fine be Quentin Beck. Let someone fine play this man.
I guess he's cute or whatever.
Yeah, let someone fine play this man. And they're like, Jake Gyllenhaal. I'm like, okay, I went with okay, but that's cool too. It's gonna work.
You never know. I mean, he did look good for that Prince of Persia movie, even
He
though
did.
that was technically brown face, but whatever.
Yeah. That's another one I'm excited for. Avengers 4's trailer is apparently going to be dropping soon, which I'm surprised
That quick.
yeah, like, apparently it's supposed to be dropping
It's probably going to
sometime.
be just a teaser.
Yeah, like what they did with Venom, that was the most god-awful first trailer in history, is the first Venom trailer. Y'all
And
know
then the
what I'm
movie
talking
actually turned out to be half decent.
about. The movie was actually pretty good.
And
Plot
you were
hole-
thirsting at Tom
Plot holes
Hardy.
up the ass.
But that's probably because they edited it.
And then is there any other Disney movies? This hasn't been completely announced that it's going to be in the works yet, but the Little Mermaid movie is ongoing in production. It's known that it's in production, pre-production.
I swear, if they end up casting Zendaya as Ariel, I will gag into a coma.
I'm down for Zendaya as Ariel. I'm down for Lady Gaga as Vanessa and not Ursula. That was a rumor going around. They were casting her as Ursula. I can't see it. Don't want to see it.
Can we get like Queen Latifah as Ursula?
I don't want
And
to see her as Ursula either.
really,
Absolutely not. She looks like it, but she can't act like it.
mm,
Um,
just have Pat Carroll overdub her.
no, Pat Carroll makes enough coin as Ursula.
Pat Carroll is
And her
like,
kids and her grandkids. Are
she
set for
is
life.
precious.
I love Pat Carroll. She's amazing. Um, Another person I heard going around for Ariel that I heard it was a rumor and apparently it's been squashed like really quick.
Have you heard? There's a rumor. Anyway,
Ariana Grande is Ariel.
why would they make ponytail Ariel?
Yo,
Like, thank you. Next.
I'm pretty sure. That has got to be that was the ugliest cackle. Like that just sounded like a car starting.
First of all, don't come for my cackle.
That one. It was just a no. It sounded like a tea kettle. There we go.
We're fighting.
But here's the whole thing with Ariana. Ariana has amazing vocal chops. Ariana has amazing comedic acting chops. You can't be comedic. You can't do comedic chops for Ariel. You got to be dead serious for her.
Hang on. You might be surprised, given how much maturing she's had to do recently.
See, but that's just with vocal wise and in real life. With acting, that's a whole different ball game.
But girl, that's a whole breakup and one of her ex-lovers dying and a whole bunch of shit. That's gonna humble somebody and like it's negative, but
Yeah, it is. But at the same time, I don't know if I could see her as Ariel.
We'll see.
Another person, again, why I'm not excited for Aladdin, I can't see Will Smith as Genie. I absolutely can't. I can't see it. You didn't know about that?
No!
That was one of the first big castings. He's Genie.
I'm uncomfortable.
I'm pretty sure he's going to be CG as fuck, and it's probably not going to be his actual face. But yeah, he's Genie. He posted a selfie of them filming on set and everything. Yeah.
You know what? I'll give him like a sliver of a chance.
He won't be. As long as y'all don't come in here trying to be like, oh, he's never going to be Robin Williams.
Of course not, bitch. They're saying two fucking people.
No one will ever
top Robin
play
Williams.
Ever. In any role that he's ever played will ever top Robin Williams.
You know what? I'm kind of surprised that they didn't cast anybody from the Broadway production of Aladdin to be Genie.
See, that's what I'm surprised about. But I follow a couple of them on Instagram. Corey Lee Bosley is one of them, and I remember the one I saw in San Francisco was Anthony. He was top-notch Genie. I think he's done with Aladdin right now, though.
Yeah, but still.
But I would have loved to see them cast as Genie because they're both hilarious and they're both queer black men. I live. I just don't. I don't want to see it. Oh, what else is announced? Oh, last Disney thing, Frozen 2 was announced a long time ago.
They just need to let it go, let it go.
And y'all remember that whole rumor about her Elsa having a lesbian lover? It seems like it might actually happen.
This is going to be the Tango Maureen all over again, and I'm already over it.
We're just going to leave it at that. Tango 2 is coming out for sure. And the directors and a lot of people involved. There's been secret people cast with roles that haven't been mentioned yet. All that shit. We're just going to leave it at that, though. Frozen 2, Elsa may have a canonically lesbian lover. That's it for me. What you got?
Alrighty. So it was kind of a random thing that popped up thanks to something I spotted on Facebook. There's a 16-bit style game that's coming out that is by trans people intended for trans people, and it's like that cyber goth. I
think it's cyberpunk. Yeah,
where you're like a trans android falling in love with somebody else, and there's like gratuitous sexual tension and content and stuff. And this game is very not for kids. And doing that, I kind of did a little bit of digging just to see how far back we've had some kind of representation in video games. So, I've compiled a small list.
Tight.
So, first off, and these are not in chronological order. These are just kind of ones that popped up.
Yeah.
And my favorite one is Bully.
Yes.
There was a game that came out, I believe, for the PS2 and the 360 a while back. And the protagonist is a canonically bisexual middle schooler.
You know what I lived for? When that game first came out, everybody was raving about it. But then once everybody found out that character was bi and you can
You can
make
kiss
out with
the boys.
all of a sudden,
Why
nobody wanted to play bully anymore.
Meanwhile, I wanted to play it even more because, oh, look, representation.
Mm-hmm.
Because representation. Moving on. We've also got a canonically trans character from the Dragon Age series.
Yes.
Prometheus, a.k.a. Krem, is a trans man.
Yes.
There's no ambiguity about it. There's a couple of specific points where he talks about having to bind his breasts.
Yes.
And Iron Bull at one point was talking about how the only difference between him and any other guy in their group is that what's the word? That he just finds it a little harder to take a piss standing up. That's it. That was the only difference that they touted about him.
Wasn't Iron Bull from Inquisitor counts too, though, doesn't he?
I think so, because some of the guys might be able to romance him or wanted to romance him. I'm just trying to breeze through this as quick as possible because I don't want to be driving in a winter wonderland.
Okay.
Next, we've got Super Mario's 2 it's a teeny bit of trans-antagonistic language, so bear with me. But saying that Birdo is a boy that thinks he's a girl.
Yeah.
So, sort of, kinda. We've also got Fallout 2, which gives you the option to have the first same-sex marriage, presented in a video game.
Yes.
Metal Gear Solid 2 and 4, the character of Vamp.
Vamp. Vamp. That's not the only one, though. He's not the only gay character, but that's like one of the main ones.
He's not the only one, but he is canon. Like, I'm reading off ones that are explicitly.
Who's the other one in Metal Gear? Who is that general? Who, I'm trying to remember his name. Oh my god, my best friend would kill me. Who was the general who had Raiden tied up in 2? What was his name?
Ocelot?
No, not Ocelot. Or was he in 3? He was like the bulky general dude who had Raiden tied up all naked, and he was like, he'd be a fine toy for me. Who was that? He was like a main bad guy. Do you know who I'm talking about?
I can see his face, but I can't think of him right now.
Oh my god, he was another one, but he was very explicit about his.
We've also got the entire Mass Effect series, which that was always fun. There was a lot of things that were up in the air. Like if you made the female Commander Shepard, you could romance a handful of people. If you made the male Commander Shepard, you could romance a handful of the women. But the main man that you could romance was Kaiden Alenko. I believe he was an adept, where he was really good with biotic abilities and good with tech abilities. But don't quote me, I don't have the Wikipedia in front of me. But I'm just wondering where we're going to keep going from here, because I love seeing more representation, but at the same time, I want to see it, more normalized, more casual.
Right.
A bit more like what they did with Dragon Age Inquisition with Krem.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't a big talking point or anything. It was just hey, he binds his chest and has trouble peeing standing up.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it.
He's still a good soldier.
That's all they care about. Yeah.
And that's the thing. I just kind of wonder where, if we're going to see more casual representation like that. Because honestly, I live
same.
not making a big fanfare about, hey, this character's gay. But as a quick sidebar about representation, video game developers, girls, cis, beloved, for the love of literally every god in a near 3,000 deity pantheon that humanity has ever worshipped, please consult some fucking hairstylists about how to make black hair in video games. I am getting sick and tired of these shittily rendered ass braids that look like they got these shits look like they got super glued to somebody's forehead. Or the comically massive Bob Ross ass wig that looks like just a bad afro. Like, can we take a couple notes from Bitmoji?
Please.
Because
Bitmoji out here with all the hairstyles.
Oh my god, Bitmoji has so many different braid styles, so many different lock styles, so many different afro styles. It's not that hard, girl. You went to school for this long to render things, and you can get Aragorn and every other white elf that's set in the third and the fourth and the fifth, have these long, luscious, flowing ass, shiny ass locks, but you can't give us something more than shitty cornrows, a buzz cut, and a bad afro? Come on.
Please.
Like,
get some Bantus in here.
Skyrim tried.
Yeah.
They tried, specifically with the Red Guards.
Yeah, they tried.
You could actually have locks, and they actually didn't look completely trash.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you've got, like, the Nords and stuff that just have all these dozens of luscious-ass, flowing-ass locks, and I'm like, Girl, if you met shea butter and
Have
the
you
fine
have you
tooth
met
comb,
my girl Shay?
shea bouteur,
Shay Boutin.
it's
Oh,
just
more
I don't
drag
know.
names. Copyright Baldwin Kids Podcast.
Oh God. Anyway,
I think that's good for the nerd section.
meanwhile, got something else that I need to talk about. I've been wanting to get off my chest for a bit, because frankly, I'm annoyed.
Uh-huh.
So you know what time it is?
I know exactly what time it is, and I ain't got the sound effect to play it. Woo! What time is it? What time is it?
It's time for and another thing. Okay, DJ Khaled. Actually, never mind. Let me not put your business out there.
Who?
Yeah, exactly. So, do you want to run through yours first? Because I feel like I'm gonna go for a while.
Yep. So there is a hashtag trending. Well, I think it was trending, but it's kind of dead now. It's called
Thankfully.
Thought Audit. Y'all think that. Oh. So a bunch of trollers, the
Incels.
trollsies, the incels, the right wings, out here causing a ruckus again by reporting cam girls and OnlyFans folks and private Snapchatters and all that good stuff to the IRS for tax fraud.
Yeah.
Pardon me. Why though? I thought your whole thing, the incel thing, was you being incapable of controlling your celibacy or some shit.
They are involuntarily celibate.
Okay, so you reporting cam girls and sex workers,
People you can actually pay so you
To
can
fuck.
lose your incel status.
and I don't understand the logic here.
There is none.
Like, do you guys know what you're doing? Do you read books?
No.
Do you care about do you care about anything that comes out of your mouth? Y'all just want to trend on Twitter and whatnot. It doesn't make any sense. There was the fact that there are people who literally have to just like watch out for people asking. Like they can't make their money and they can't do what they're trying to do without being worried that they're going to be reported to the IRS, which is a whole nother step in itself. Because you know how much paperwork you got to file to report somebody for tax fraud to the IRS. You got so much shit to do, and it's y'all just out here just being assholes just to be assholes. Because you reporting a bunch of people to the IRS ain't gonna do nothing.
Like, just say you hate women and go.
And just say you just mad because you can't get this girl's puss and go, or dick, depending,
Can't get puss,
and go.
Can't get puss or bus, and they mad about it.
Right, exactly.
Like,
This dumb sexual. Oh, so that goes into my tiny little rant. I'm gonna end it here because sex work is still work.
sex work is real work.
Don't talk shit about the people whose services you take advantage of all the time.
Exactly.
All that good shit. Leave it alone. Y'all ain't shit. The end.
Okay. My turn.
Oof.
So, little bit of preface. This rant is probably going to contain a lot of slurs, a lot of anger, a lot of shouting. If you cannot handle it, please lower the volume and just half listen until I say something like, okay, I'm done. Because this man has me full circle, 365-degree, whole globe, heliocentric ass fucked up.
Clear the pathways for the rage.
Okay. So, not too recently, or actually quite recently, and I'm going to read part of this article. An Oscar-nominated screenwriter behind Disney blockbusters such as Aladdin and Pirates of the Caribbean series is facing backlash online after using the N-word in a tweet arguing against vaccines. Hold, please. Because I've got the text of the tweet here, because the internet never forgets, bitch, and he had... Okay. I'm really trying, because...
Yeah, he says some bullshit.
Okay, like I said, disclaimer, slurs, whatnot. Anyway, my heart goes out to all of the parents of vaccine-damaged children who have to not only endure the sadness of their loss, but also the vitriol of ill-informed and insensitive people such as those here. Anti-vax is equivalent to calling someone a nigger and makes as little sense. So, So we're gonna break that down, and I'm gonna save the finale for my real. First of all, endure the sadness of their loss of vaccine damaged children. We're not even going to get into beating this dead horse because honestly, honey, that horse has been long dead, rotted into the ground, and grass has grown on top of that patch. Vaccines do not cause autism. 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 Bitch, we've talked about this multiple times on multiple different platforms, multiple different news sources, etc. et fucking cetera. They do not cause autism. And furthermore, do you hate autistic people that much that you're willing to risk your kid to get
to die of something?
Risking your kid to get a completely and utterly preventable disease, and further the fuck more, endanger those who actually can't get vaccines, like, kids with fucking cancer. They've already got enough on their fucking plate to deal with in fighting cancer. Right. But then you got to bring your measles-ridden ass little braiding-ass bitch over here trying to talk about, well, they have mercury in them and they cause cancer and autism and stuff. And I just can't have that for my little lady. And then take them the fuck out to the field and keep them away from people. Because the rest of us civilized bitches are gonna get poked, gonna get those scary chemicals, which sidebar bitch, everything is made of chemicals, get the fuck over yourself. But we're gonna get those scary chemicals injected in ourselves and not spread around preventable diseases. Number one, first and foremost.
Y'all are literally out here saying the equivalent of, I'd rather have my child die than get cancer and autism.
Like,
that is literally what you're saying.
So, like, girl, what?
So, I'd rather have my child die instead of die.
Exact. Well, no, autism isn't deadly, but still.
I'm sorry. I'd rather have, yeah. So, in the case of cancers, you're saying, I'd rather have my child die instead of die. And with, you're saying, other case, you're like, I'd rather have my child die than have autism. Like, that's so fucked up.
Okay.
Go on.
I'm going to try my best to keep my volume from being horrendous because I'm literally shaking with fury right now.
Mm-hmm. Go on.
Because he had the nerve to say anti-vax is equivalent to calling someone a nigger and makes as little sense. So when your dizzy ass gets strung up by your wrists and ankles and whipped until you bleed out from your back and you get called anti-vax, when you get your kids taken away and sold halfway across the damn country,
and your wife another,
when you get kicked to the back of the bus, lynched, beheaded, drowned, have cotton gin pieces tied to yourself and anything like that, then you can fucking claim something like that. But how the fuck dare you try to claim that being called anti-vax, which is just shorthand for anti-vaccine, it's a factual statement that your dizzy ass is trying to keep these quote-unquote chemicals from in your body, which, I mean, your parents probably got you vaccinated, so you're, safe. But anyway, how are you going to equate a racial slur that has been used for nearly half a goddamn millennium? How are you going to equate the two? How are you going to equate the two to some kind of discrimination when you're doing something fucking stupid and it's something stupid, it's insipid, it's dangerous, and it's completely changeable? My ass is black 24/7, 365 every day of the year, every moment of every hour of every day. That is something that I cannot change. And somebody's still going to try to call me a nigga left, right, and center. Right. And it's still something that is going to be used to discriminate against me, to revoke my rights, to make things harder for me in one way, shape, or form. For you to have the caucasity to say that anti-vax is equivalent to nigger and as makes as little sense? Girl,
please, what makes little sense about saying that you're anti-vaccine? What makes little sense about that?
It makes as little sense. We can go into the etymology of nigger being a corruption of the Spanish word negro.
Right.
Which
is another term that's been used to oppress us for
decades, but that's not the point though. We can go into that etymology and it still makes sense. Right. But the fact of the matter is, until your pasty ass, B-list, sitcom dad hair having ass, 7, 8, 9, 10 chin looking ass, trying to have eyebrows out the wazoo ass, wants to, I'm trying my best not to get loud. I am trying. But he fucking tried it and I want to scream in his face. What level?
This brings me back to a rant that I had.
What level of dizziness do you need to attain? Like, girl.
This brings me back to when, the gays were talking about this is the new civil rights movement, when this marriage equality thing was happening. It brings me all the way back to that.
Because you're going to co-opt something.
Because now, you guys with your BBC fetishes.
Oh, don't even get me started.
Y'all with that and talking shit about, well, you wouldn't date him, but you would fuck him. Because BBC, and then y'all gonna turn around. But the civil rights movement don't do it. Y'all don't get to pirate
You don't get to co-opt the movement, bitch.
Yeah, you don't
Go
get
back
to
to trolling on Grindr for your next BBC and keep it pushing, bitch, because we're not here for it. I'm still mad that this moldy David Attenborough looking ass bitch had the nerve to try to say that anti-vax was similar to nigga. You got me full circle fucked up.
It's not, and it's not. The symbol, you were trying so hard to
You
make a point.
tried it. You
that
tried to
didn't
reach, bitch. You ain't
exist.
Mr. Fantastic, and you're not gonna find that point anywhere in any shape or any
Didn't
form.
exist. Wasn't there for you to make, sorry.
And his ass had the nerve to delete the tweet. Like, bitch, if you're gonna be ignorant as fuck, at least sit in your goddamn ignorance and actually keep it.
Guess what? Screenshots are a thing, and that's there forever.
Screenshots are a thing, and bitch, the internet never forgets. And he's getting dragged for it left and right. And honestly, I'm here for it. Equally because he's a white guy using that word, which I absolutely fucking should not. Don't even get me started on why y'all shouldn't be using that word. I'm not here for it. You will get blocked.
Right.
I'm trying.
Woosah.
I'm really trying.
Woosah.
I'm really trying. Like, I don't normally get this upset with people.
Right.
With people I don't know.
Right.
But this is like an intersection of things that annoy me to the point where I'm actually pissed off.
Right. It's aggravating.
Aggravating is an understatement.
I feel like I'm too over this.
You're over it, and that's
like,
fine. I'm usually over this shit too. But this is something that popped up.
I'm over it, but I still need to talk about it because it's like, here's someone who literally feels, this goes back into that, safe space shit. Here's a man that is so okay in his whiteness that he thinks it is okay to just sit here and throw around the
one, to say nigga. Two,
to compare it to something that has little to no
basis
meaning.
in fact.
Yeah.
And three, girl, what?
Literally don't equate.
Like, I want to know how often he uses in his private settings, because you got to be using that in your personal life, left, right, and center, to think that it's okay to just drop on the fucking internet, which never fucking forgets. I hope he loses his job. I hope he loses all his riches. I hope nothing prosperous comes to him for the rest of his life.
Roseanne Part 2.
Because how in the cyanobacterial fuck dare you?
Wow. Get out of here.
I'm done. I'm done.
Right.
Y'all can turn your mic. Y'all can turn your volume back up now. I'm done. He's an asshole, but I'm done.
He ain't shit. But that's it. Now, we usually plug our social media here, but we got a thing for y'all.
So, do you want me to say it, or are you gonna say it?
You go ahead.
Do you want me to break out my announcer voice?
Do it.
All right, guys, gals, and non-binary pals, your friends Kay and Vesta have recently done a little bit of a come-up. We have recently joined a podcast network, and you'll be getting progressively more doses of our black-ass foolishness.
Right.
To be found on the big three:
iTunes, Spotify,
and Google Play. In addition to our usual
they'll still
YouTube
come up
and SoundCloud.
Yeah.
But we have joined a podcast network. You're going to be hearing more of us. You're going to be hearing from us more often. So get your life, secure those wigs, because we're coming for them.
We coming. The places you can't hide from us on. You can hide from us on SoundCloud and YouTube. You can't hide from us on iTunes and Spotify and Google Play. We're just going to be there and then recommend it's like, yes, hello.
Good evening. So, keep a lookout for that.
There'll be many more details. If you want to find out about those details, you can follow us
on our Facebook page, where we'll be announcing little things here and there about how the process is moving along. But yeah, can't really give a time frame, but it's going to be very soon.
Very soon. We'll give you details when we get them.
But if for the time being, well, you can still mind our black ass business on Facebook at the Baldwin Kids Podcast page. Give us a like, give us a share, tell your friends, tell your enemies, tell your cousin, tell your grandma, tell your auntie, tell your uncle. Tell everybody.
Tell everybody.
And you can tell everybody.
Oh my God.
But yeah, if you'd like to shoot us some suggestions for our mental health segment.
Yes, please.
We're not necessarily running out, but at the same time, we only have our perspectives. There can be, hundreds, thousands of other perspectives that we can hear about, do some research on, because I don't know if you've noticed since the beginning of our show, but I've been doing more research to try to make sure that anything we talk about is current.
Yeah. We have had some slip ups in the past, but that was our fault. We were new.
Exactly. So
We on that shit now.
feel free to shoot us an email at askthebkcast@gmail.com. You can find me on Twitter. I'm probably going to have a bigger presence on Twitter with this big move happening. You can find me on Twitter at the Iron Magnus. That's TheIronMagnus.
And you can find me on Instagram at House of Fire. It is house_of_fire. Lots of selfies, like them all, and
Get your life.
get your life.
All right. Is that all we've got? Is that all we can tell them?
Yeah, that's all we can tell them.
All right. In that case, you know what? I think we're done here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go brave the snow. Y'all pray for me. Actually, no, because you're gonna hear this well after I got home and safe and wrapped up in the blankets and stuff. Because you and I both know my black ass was driving a smooth 5 miles an hour to make sure that I do not die.
Yeah, it's young.
Because we just started.
It just started and it's already just like, yes, hello.
Like, I don't know who brought the cold miser.
Who made
Was
Mother
it the cold
Nature,
miser or
man?
the ice miser?
From what?
There's the I'm Mr. Heat Miser, I'm Mr. Sun. Was it Snow Miser? Whatever, that bitch is mad and hurling mad balls of snow at all of us.
Yeah.
And I know some of these bitches out here will not know how to handle it. And driving like they're from Atlanta with 0.2 inches of snow.
Right.
So, still, I'm going to be driving as carefully as I possibly can to make it home safely.
And on that note, we'll see you guys soon in the next episode.
Oh. Do we want to leave them with a little bit of a present at the end of this?
That's the present.
Well, we have been working on a new theme song.
Ooh, y'all can't hear it yet.
You know what? Yeah. We'll wait.
The
Just
10th episode, and we will have a new theme song.
yes. So get ready, get your ears ready, secure your wigs with an extra layer of adhesive, and be ready because we're coming. Ooh, that sounded dirty.
Let's go.
All right, y'all. We'll see you next time.